How's it going, everybody? It's me, Tewty Toons. Today we're going over some Siege prep for August 2020. Before we do that, I want to give a shout out to two of my patrons, LMR and White Dog, who get a lot of access to my Patreon. They get to even go so far as to suggest a topic for me to do every month. So let's get into our bonus characters for Siege of 2020 or August 2020, not of all year 2020. It's a interesting bunch, I'm not gonna lie. So it's gonna be very debuff heavy this month, with our reworks being Ra's al Ghul and Grundy. We do have some tanky people in this bonus toon list. So every month, if you guys don't play Siege, they do the 4 new characters of the month. So the 2 new characters that just debuted, the 2 reworks, those are always Siege bonus characters, and then they always add 4 extras as add-ons that either may or may not go with the theme of that month. This month seems to be just the theme is debuffs, apparently, or countering debuffs, basically. So, Ultraman, if we don't know anything about Ultraman, he is a villain who synergizes with villains, and he can throw debuffs from your team back to the enemy team, and it is very, very potent, and he gets to attack while doing that, so he gets to damage you and throw those debuffs back at you at the same exact time, which is awesome. And he's also a taunter, so that's just something to keep in mind. Manbat is a very, very tanky character. He does not have a taunt in his kit, but he is like the Black Manta of disease. Like, he is very, very good at stacking diseases on characters. He's anti-taunt and anti-invisibility. So if you're up against either of those 2 types of teams, which one of the new characters this month is Deadman, he will be very good against that team as well. Whatchamacallit, John Constantine, we're all kind of a little, in the Owl Chat at least, we're all kind of upset that he's another bonus character because he has been a bonus character in Siege. I think this is at least his 3rd time, might be his 5th, but it's we have a huge roster of characters. Let's not bring Constantine back for a very long time. But Constantine is one of the biggest debuffers in the game, and he does more damage to characters based on how many debuffs they have on them. Not only that, but he's also really hard to kill because he gets awarenesses, he gets invisibility, and anytime you kill someone else on his team, he kind of screws you over. So watch out for that. That might be very good for revenges or not. I'm not entirely sure. And then we have someone that we don't really see very often, and we have Dr. Poison. And Dr. Poison is a bleed-oriented healer, and I'm kind of sad because she's the only real bleeder in the Siege bonus list right now, because her rework happened. She did already get reworked, and it's not a terrible rework, but it happened before they introduced disease to the game, so they didn't get to put disease in her kit, unfortunately. So she's very much so about bleeds, and John Constantine can apply bleeds, which is nice, but she works well with mass bleeders, and there aren't any of those in the Siege bonus list right now. So that being said, let's go through characters that kind of synergize with each of these individuals. We're not going to go over the new characters yet. We'll go over those in separate videos throughout the month. But yeah, let's go through it. So number 5, this is our Ultraman synergy page. We start off with Ra's al Ghul. Why? Because Ra's al Ghul is a villain, first of all. Not only that, but it's going to be a debuff heavy team, or not debuff heavy Siege, right? So we want to pair Ultraman with villains, so that way he has a better chance of throwing those debuffs back at your enemy team. And so this month is also a very mystic heavy, blue character heavy Siege. There's only 3 bonus characters, I want to say, that are not mystics, and that's if we go back to 6 here. Oh wait, no, it's only Yeah, it's the three. So Manbat, Poison Ivy, and Ultraman. Um, so Ultraman's going to have a little bit of a weaker challenge against these blue characters out there. So just be aware of that. Lex Luthor is also a good leader for Ultraman because Ultraman deals special damage, and as we all know, Lex Luthor boosts intelligence on characters pretty well. He also heals the crap out of them, so that's very good for taunting characters. Sinestro White Lantern is another leader that can kind of be like a safety harness because he offers so many types of revives and like death immunities and things like that, mends and heals that can keep your team alive and well, but he's also a villain, so he synergizes really well with Ultraman. Then we have Black Mask, who is one of the most versatile characters in the game. He deals out debuffs a lot. He calls assists quite a lot. He's very tanky. He's almost always crit immune. And he can throw a taunt on somebody else and call their assist, which is really nice because it's like, oh, Ultraman's over there and he is a tank. So I'll just throw this taunt on him, have him call assist, and then my taunter is back on the correct character that needs to be taunting. So a little bit of villain synergy here. Now with the next one, this one would be, I think, Manbat's. Yep, this is Manbat's page right here. So Manbat obviously deals very... he does a lot of synergy with disease characters, right? Captain Atom, our first disease character in the game, has out-of-turn attacks towards characters that have disease on them. Not only that, but Ra's al Ghul has out-of-turn attacks that apply disease. So that synergy right there is going to be through the roof. It's going to be very powerful. Chemo is a turn 0 taunter. He is green, so he might be a little weak this siege. However, he does help spread those diseases as well. Then we have Black Mask, who, as we just talked about, can throw a taunt on a character. And since Manbat is one of the tankiest characters in the game, you can throw the taunt on Manbat and then have Manbat call assist, which then applies a shit ton of disease to the enemy team. And it's a very good combo, and I know Black Mask was already mentioned, but he's just that versatile. Then we're going to go to our next character. I can't even remember what order I keep them in these days. Okay, so Constantine. This is Constantine's page. So Constantine deals... When an ally dies on your team, right, you debuff the enemy team quite a lot. You put a lot of intelligence downs on their team, and you reduce their turn meter and all this good jazz, right? Well, Mary Shazam, when an ally dies, uses her AoE, her like Sith lightning powers, against the enemy team, right? And if they already have these intelligence downs from Constantine, she's going to deal that much more damage, right? Not only that, but if you bring in Grundy, who is another bonus character, or Ra's al Ghul, who is another bonus character, and they revive, which you might lose points still in Siege, which obviously we really don't want to happen, but there's that safety harness again, right? So they come back after... Constantine's already applied his debuffs, Mary's already done her AoE, so then they get another chance at life to help your team out again. And then, since they've already died, if they die again, it doesn't matter, right? You're not going to lose another star if the same character dies. So it doesn't really matter at that point, in which case you're just playing the revive game, and you're more than likely going to win your match because... you've got two two characters that really boost up when your allies die. Ra's al Ghul has his own revive as well. It's not guaranteed like Grundy's is that first time, but it's still very good. And then we have Mirror Master, who is kind of an oddball, and I wanted to throw him in there just because... So Constantine gets invisibility passively, but sometimes when you are the pilot of your team and they're not on auto, right, you might feel like you're getting RNG fucked, right, where your Constantine is just not getting invisibility just because RNG is not working for you. Mirror Master offers you a guaranteed invisibility to throw back on Constantine, which will help you so much with just winning the fight. As long as you can keep Constantine alive, and even if he's the last guy on your team, you'll have a significant advantage because of all of the debuffs, the turn meter, etc., that Constantine is offered. And then finally, the Dr. Poison page, we have, you guessed it, a shit ton of bleeders. None of them are bonus characters, unfortunately. However, we all have those fights where you just look at your enemy team and you're like, there's no way I can bring any bonus characters, or maybe I can only get away with one bonus character, and in which case, maybe Poison Ivy, or not Poison Ivy, but Dr. Poison is that bonus character that you can bring because she's a red, right? So Cheetah's very good with bleed characters, and since Dr. Poison is kind of slow, we really appreciate that turn meter that Cheetah offers us. Not only that, but Banshee and Dr. Poison. So Dr. Poison applies heal immunity to the enemy team with her AoE, in which Silver Banshee can then kind of benefit from. She can deal extra damage with her basic, and Silver Banshee herself applies heal immunity and can do some awesome stuff when there's bleeds on the enemy team. Red Hood is another character that can stack bleeds like crazy, and with Poison Ivy, or not, I keep saying Poison Ivy, it's Dr. Poison. The more bleeds on the enemy team, the more effective Dr. Poison becomes, because she can heal your team based on how many bleeds are on the enemy team, and she can damage them, she can do true damage to the entire enemy team passively, depending on how many bleeds are on the enemy team. So you want people that can apply a shit ton of bleeds. Another good character is Cassandra Cain, who can apply 5 bleeds to every character on the enemy team, which is hot. And then finally we have Black Manta, who is the king of bleeds. Stacks them like crazy, and whatchamacallit is just very, very good at spreading bleeds. So granted, these are characters that aren't necessarily siege characters, but they're still very, very useful towards your bonus list this siege in August of 2020. Now let's go ahead, we'll do like one PvP fight per character, just so that we can like show how well they are like usable. Ugh, excuse me. Alright, so let's, Red Hood, perfect. Perfect for an Ultraman. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. An Ultraman use. Let's do, so there's 2 greens and 2 blues, so we're gonna want to be green heavy, right? And we want to stick to villains as well. So let's get rid of this hero tab, and now we only have to worry about our villains on our team. So we have our taunter, we have our healer, and our intelligence booster, right? Let's see what else we can do. There are really, Red Hood is the main one that it's going to apply all these debuffs to the enemy team. So we want to be able to maintain those. So let's do this guy, and we'll do... Let's just do Reverse Flash. I don't really think I need a taunter because Ultraman is that taunter. Ultraman also has this really awesome ability where you can apply buff immunity to the entire team. It is a little bit gated where it's 25% chance per alive enemy. So as long as there's all 4 enemies on the team still there, you're guaranteed that buff immunity. But if one of them dies, you're no longer guaranteed that buff immunity. So let's go ahead and start with that. Since we have 2 intelligence ups, we'll see how much damage we do. That's a pretty sizable chunk of damage, right? And here we go. We're getting some debuffs stacked on us. I was really hoping Red Hood would do an AoE instead, because then I could actually like show you the out of turn attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and get that from him. I'm going to try and just like let Red Hood stay alive long enough to cast that ability, and hopefully that happens soon. Come on, buddy. There it is. Oh, that's not it either. Wow. Red Hood, you really do not want to do me the favor of just being a nice guy today, do you? There it is. Alright, so who's the next turn? Okay, I'm the next turn. I'm going to just go ahead and taunt so I don't deal any damage. Oh, man. Whereas there it is. That's the out of turn attack I was looking for, because Sinestro had debuffs on him, Ultraman was able to swoop in, do an out of turn attack, and if Red Hood had stayed alive, those debuffs would have been transferred from Yellow Lantern Sinestro to Red Hood, and it's super useful, especially when you're with villains. And I really love Ultraman, and there's a very big debate going on in the Owls whether or not Ultraman's a good character or not, and I think he's a great character, but people like Hate Mail just don't know how to use niche characters. It just doesn't work out for them. So let's try a different one without Ultraman. Who's the next one? It was Manbat. So we get to whip out our new Ra's al Ghul. We get to whip out our Captain Atom. We're going to put Chemo in as well, because Chemo is a green against this black, or not black, the Batwoman. And then we need our Manbat, obviously. Let's go. He's kind of got a low power score. Oh, there he is. So he's a little further down the list. And let's go. Let's see how well this works out. I probably don't need all of these disease characters. I probably should have just put Black Mask on the team instead of like Captain Atom or something, but slower team for sure. But hopefully see, okay, so she taunted, right? That's great to see, because that pulled the out of turn attack out of Manbat, allowing him to stack a massive stack of diseases onto her. Now we're going to debuff the team, reduce their damage output. See, Chemo would have died just now had Black Adam not had those intelligence downs on him. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So now that she has silence on her, I'm going to go ahead and murder her. Oh, excuse me. Oh, jeez. Alright. So now I have an AoE that could apply one disease, so it's weird because he has a passive that applies so many one disease as he attacks, and it's only a 90% chance. It's like you have a 90%, like it's basically guaranteed, but that one time that you want it to work and it just doesn't, you're like, what the fuck? Why didn't you just make it 100%? So we're going to go ahead and just do that, and then allow Captain Atom to get some of his out-of-turn attacks off as well. Damn, poor Chemo. Ugh. Okay, so there goes Captain Atom, smacking hose, and hopefully we can get this. There it is. This Ra's al Ghul to just smack them until they're dead. And then he also has a way to gain strength ups as well, so that I know that most of his damage is based on disease, which is really nice, but you can still get it to where he can deal like actual damage with his strength ups. But you really don't need it, because they just melt away with the disease. Honestly, it's so useful. When I use disease characters like Ra's al Ghul and what's his face? Manbat. I can't even think of his name. I'm talking about him right now. I like to spam their basic, because those are the abilities that spread disease. And the more disease on the team, the faster they melt. And that you don't really need to... If you're bringing disease characters to a fight, you do not need high damage characters. You need them to out-survive the enemy team. That's really all you need. So now we're going to switch it up. We're going to do a Hellblazer team. We're going to do a John Constantine. Oh, I need the hero. He is a hero. Where's he at? There he is. Constantine. We're gonna bring out some Grundy. That'll be fun. We need to bring out some... Oh, you know what? We could pair him with, guess who? Black Mask. Okay, so the reason why I want to pair them is because Black Mask is basically John Constantine, except outside of leader, right? So when someone dies on your team, which will likely be Grundy, you'll double up on those on-death debuffs that both Hellblazer, John Constantine, and Black Mask offer, and it's just gonna just completely neuter the enemy team, and it's gonna be amazing. And then we're gonna throw in. I wish there was. I don't remember if there's an energy-based character that does on death, other than maybe Jessica Cruz, who taunts, which is nice. And then I guess Martian adds awareness, but he has to be in the leader slot to do that, and I don't really want that. Excuse me. Let's see. Ooh, Larfleeze also gains buffs on ally death, so that could be very useful ability as well. Let's whip out the Larfleeze. We really don't want Grundy to die, obviously. In Siege, you really don't. You want to avoid the revive game, but if you want to be a dick, this is the way to do it. If you want to be that guy that, whatchamacallit, brings out the not the revive team, but the revenge team. John Constantine is going to offer a very good revenge team. Boom, baby. I'm going to go ahead and try and enrage him too so that he can't use speed ups. Booyah. Booyah. Alright, let's get rid of his death immunity so that we can actually kill him. Alright, so this offers strength ups before we attack, which is awesome. That's like the first time I've ever seen that like written down. Like the buffs apply before the attack does, which is interesting. It won't show it, but apparently it happens. Like, I wonder if that's a bug or if it's just coded so that it just doesn't show up until after the animation. Oh, I just stole Constantine's invisibility. Whoopsie! We're going to throw the taunt on Grundy so that Grundy not only calls assists but himself, but if we get attacked by anyone, he has a chance to retaliate now. At least I think. I haven't fully like really read his kit. So there it is. There's the retaliation. Hell yeah. That's hot. See, we didn't even die that time. And we still made it work in like the most dickish way possible. But yeah, so that's a very good Hellblazer team to move forward with if you wanted. That was +4 siege points right there. And it was a 3-star match. Excuse me. Now let's try and find one for Doc Poison. Obviously, if you're going to do a debuff heavy team, we have to avoid the 8 Hal Jordans on my board. That slut. Let's see what's over here. Is it full evasion? Not quite. We could probably try it. Let's do our Cheetah lead so we get some extra turn meter. There's a lot of blues, so we're going to bring Talia. And since there are a lot of... Since there's going to be evasions, we want to bring Suicide Squad Deadshot so that we can kind of peel off those evasions. And then we just need to find Dr. Poison. It's probably best to just use these things. The filter. There she is. And let's go. Let's get it done. I really like the idea of Dr. Poison. I'm not sure that she was carried out in the best way, but the fact that she like passively can heal your team, the fact that she can passively destroy your enemy team with just true damage based on how many bleeds are on your team, I find that to be very like powerful in a way that you don't see very often. And I want to make sure that Batgirl can get killed first because she's going to be the one. She's the red on the team and the one that provides the crit immunities, the heals, the evasions. If I can get rid of her, we can get rid of all that bonus garbage. Not a whole lot of bleeds out there just yet. I want to apply a few more before we go crazy with oh shit. Well, that sucks. Alright, so I get another turn. Wow. Looks like a lot of those evasions dropped off, so I'm going to go ahead and AoE the team. There's Looks like at least 6 on Cheetah and a bunch more on Batgirl, so this should be somewhat damaging. There you go. There it is. Okay, and then that second tap of damage, that's what I'm talking about. That's her passive true damage based on how many bleeds are on the enemy team. And it only has a 60-ish% chance, I think, of proccing, depending on how far ringed out it is. But giving her more turns is really what's going to help her proc that more often. And then we're just going to like finish her off here. Beautiful. She's kind of a slow character because she has that passive that is just so powerful. If you can get so many bleeds on the enemy team, it's almost guaranteed to just melt them even after the bleeds damage take place. It's kind of like disease before disease was a thing, if that makes sense. Like, does AoE team-wide damage passively based on debuffs? But yeah, I don't know. It's a thing. So basically, that is a good coverage of our 4 extra bonus characters of the August 2020 Siege. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. There will be a DCL toolkit in the link below as well, just so that you can research these characters yourselves. Use that website. It is phenomenal. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my content. Hit me up with that subscribe button. Bye, guys.